Hey, what's up, you guys?
Hi.
We are back. JK. First video. Today we are here to talk about UCF CARES
and what we'd like to change, improve, or expand on campus. And our theme, our sort of umbrella theme, because we're going to focus on 3 different things, is accessibility.
Tight.
So yes, for example, for me, I decided to focus on accessibility of women hygiene products. And yours was?
Mine was disability and helping those who might struggle getting on campus for certain situations, and we'll expand more on that later.
And Jose's is?
And mine deals with the accessibility in regards to pregnant students.
So, how will we grow a culture of care?
We want to create a culture of care by allowing every 5 pillars of UCF CARES, well-being,
diversity and inclusion, mental health, respect,
and diversity.
No, we said that. He meant to say interpersonal violence prevention.
Yes.
We want to make sure that
we want to make sure.
We want to make sure that all of the requirements for those pillars are being met, because if they're not, then that means that there's
more attention based on one, and then the other is not getting attention, and it's just a lot of
complication. And it's important that all students feel respected, that we help them with their mental health. It's just, if we focus on all those things, it'll be easier to grow a culture of care. So as far as creating a service or expanding something pre-existing, creating a more accessible women hygiene product dispenser would be great. I already know that there are some in bathrooms, but you have to pay $0.25 to use it. And that's a problem, because not a lot of people have money on them. And sometimes people have accidents where, they don't have anything to cover themselves with, and they have class in 5 minutes, but they don't have $0.25. So what are they going to do, right? So I was thinking the dispensers that we have now, we can just expand it by getting some sort of a updated dispenser, or some kind of vending machine where you would use your student ID to swipe, and you can select a pad, panty liner, or a tampon. And that way, by using the student ID, people won't take more than they can. There should be a certain limit, because I know sometimes that's why things cost, because if it was free, people would just take a bunch, right? But I think that would be a good way to limit it. And not only that, but students will have more access to it as well. And I think that's really important.
For me, disabilities. So there are a lot of students who may not have working legs, unfortunately, and use a wheelchair, or who have chronic pain and need a walker to get around campus, or some type of vehicle that's electronic. And there are a couple garages on campus, I believe C and B, who don't have elevators for students who may need to get up around downstairs to get to class. There's also a big gap for those of students who may live off on campus associated housing, who don't have the easy access to get onto a shuttle bus and get on campus, which is a big problem for those who want to get to class, or special events that happen on campus. I know, football games, certain religious events, or anything of that sort.
And now back to Jose.
There's already a pre-existing program that kind of helps, resources that kind of helps pregnant women and pregnant students get around on campus, but improving that actual resource could actually help a lot of pregnant females stay involved on campus and feel less secluded from student life. Now, I've learned from past experience through my friends and how it was a very difficult time for them, because they felt that they were all in this alone, and that these areas could have been improved. And I know there are special lactation rooms, like lactating rooms, where the female can express their milk freely when they're breastfeeding, and also parking areas in garages, which can also be expanded. I know from, like mentioned to you, personal experience, a friend of mine personally had a very troubling time accessing her classroom because not all parking garages and parking locations for students have an expecting mother's parking spot. Now, expanding on this and being able to incorporate more services for pregnant females, and then also mentioning this, there is a daycare for already mothers that already have their children, which is awesome, and it's a great way for the females to stay, the pregnant females to stay involved, and mothers to stay involved in school life, and it's a very difficult experience for them. And being able to congregate in a organization would also help. So implementing an organization that kind of helps bridge and connect pregnant and expecting mothers to other resources would also be a great way for them to continue with school activities.
So the gaps that would be filled, basically we're trying to bridge the gap between the school itself and the students who feel neglected, because the school is about diversity and inclusion, right? So it's important that all students feel included and all students feel heard, and we just don't want them to feel neglected. So it's important that we bridge that gap and we find a way to make the school more accessible for them, because they have a right.
And we pay tuition.
So, exactly. How we would keep this sustained.
This sustained by
funding.
Funding.
We could do fundraisers. We could do there's certain organizations that are all for these certain things, and I'm pretty sure that they would do their own stuff to help out. But the thing is that all of this is to make the school more accessible to students who pay tuition. So I feel like there should be enough in the budget to do that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as inclusive as it claims to be, So fundraising right now is kind of like the only way we would be able to keep it sustained, because you do need a lot of money. You need a lot in that budget. So I feel like fundraising would be a good way to at least start it. Maybe there could be donors, because I know a lot of people, they do donate to
a lot
school.
of alumni.
Oh yeah, we'll just talk to alumni, give them phone calls, all of them. And so for the key participants, I think that UCF CARES would be a really good one, just because we're student ambassadors, so it'd be really cool to tell people hey, there are some resources. Right now, we're working on this. We're doing certain things to make things more accessible. Or, we can even ask students, hey, what do you think we should do? And then there's also student accessibility services. And I know with you, with your topic, that could really help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And also, we think SGA would be a great place to reach out to. And also UCF.
So, yeah. So how we would market to students, do you want to tell them how we would start?
We would definitely start with petitioning, using petitions to bring awareness to these topics, and also seeing people's opinions and see, yes, we have this concept, but we also want to see other people's input and see what else we can improve on within those topics.
Yeah, because we want to bridge the gap. We don't want to speak for them. We just want to hand them the microphone and tell them hey, do you want this? Do you want this to happen? Because we can make it happen, but we need you to make it happen. If that makes sense.
I think it makes sense.
Then it makes sense. Just kidding. So, why is it a priority?
This is priority because we are UCF students who participate in university special events and school and class and studying and all these great things that the campus provides. And
there's a lot of advantages that people like us have that are able to go to campus or are able to do certain things, or just anything that like someone else can, like. And it's important to make sure that everyone has more options and opportunities on campus. It's just really it's important because these are students. They have the right to want to have access to things that we all have access to. I mean, because this school is supposed to be inclusive, and it is. It encourages diversity and inclusion. So why not make this a priority? These students are a priority. UCF cares about these students, so it's important that we show them that we care by showing them like, hey, like, we're listening to you. What do you need? What do you want? Like, how can we help you succeed?
I think it could definitely help students academically and personal success level in a way that it's, for my topic at least, and your topic, expenses have a lot to do with what we're talking about. And that creates less stress because we don't need to spend money on an Uber or a special accessibility bus to take me to class, or extra money to for an emergency that I have to pay maybe $9 for something at Student Union. Less stress.
And as far as having the free accessible hygienic products in the bathrooms, that would really help women a lot, because sometimes menstrual periods, like, it will prevent someone from even attending class because they don't have anything to absorb the blood or anything like that. Personally, like, I'm gonna throw out my personal experience out there, but I've even had someone go and buy something at the store and bring it to me because I didn't have a quarter on me to get a tampon in the machine, and I was late to work because of that. So I think it's really important to have that access there, because it could really help someone not be late to class or miss an assignment or miss anything, and then anything that would make them have to leave to go home or to stay in the bathroom longer than they should. That's not okay. So I think this is important. So I hope you guys enjoyed our project.
And thank you for hearing us out. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.